Let's start to build our first multifact cluster synonym. To do so, we're going to go back to prepare and manage data, and we're going to pick the data from our retail sample data. So in here, we're going to start building. So first step is right click and tell the system I want to create a new cluster business view, which is the starting point. Cluster business view building that way starts with a blank page, blank master file, no content in here. And now we can pick values. As I mentioned before, we're going to start with fact tables in here. So in my sample, I'm going to add my WF retail sales file as a fact table into my master file. Of course, we can change the arrangement here and, for example, collapse all elements to make it easier to read. So let's add my shipment table as well. So we've got two master files in here that's going to be the starting point for my elements. So for the sales fact, we're going to add some more children to that element to add the dimensions. So we're going to go to the dimension folders and look up the elements in here. So actually what we're going to do is we're going to go for the customer, which is 100% confidence in here. So that's going to get us something useful. We're going to go for retail currency, which is going to have 100% confidence as well. I'm going to add product, another 100% one, which is a good guess. I've got similar tables showing product or customer in my sample here, but let's continue. So let's go to store and let's go to time. So we've got a bunch of elements that we linked to. So select OK. And now we build our little starting element, which is the first path of my multi-fact. So I've got sales fact with all the dimensions linked to the sales fact. So now to combine sales fact and shipment fact, there's one very important thing. There's no linkage or joining between sales fact and shipment fact. The way to merge or combine those two elements is to link them indirectly. So to link them using the same dimension. So if we open it up here, we can look into that element. We're going to see we have elements like the ID time sales in here. So if we look at the time dimension, we've got our ID time in here. We've got our ID time sales in here. So that's one of the elements where we can combine those elements. We've got customer in here. So customer is another joint or common dimension. So go for ID customer and select ID customer and link those elements. So we can now auto-arrange the elements. And see, there's one important thing that happened here now. Everything is messed up in that screen. What happened? Actually, it's very important whenever you join, whenever you draw that join lines, see a huge mess in here. So somehow my table here, my fact table moved down to here. So it's now linked to the time. It's strange. Reason is, if you draw the line from fact to dimension. If you screwed it up, remove the fact table again. You can clear it up slightly, so you can auto-arrange the elements. So they're going to be somewhere on the screen. You can also move them around manually. So let's start again. So let's act my retail shipment table, put it on the screen. Hey, there's magic. What's the magic in here? Of course, WebFOCUS knows those confidences and those IDs and foreign key relationship, and it's trying to automatically link those elements. So best practice really to learn from that lesson, start with one fact table. Add all the common elements in here, all the common dimension fields. Then at the next fact table, and you're gonna get the right linkage in here. You don't have to do it manually. If you have to do it manually, draw the line from top to bottom, not from bottom to top. So now we only have shared dimensions. Sometimes you're also gonna have unshared dimensions. What is an unshared dimension? So actually, if we look at the data and we go back to the dimension folder, go to the dimensions, you're going to find something in here like the shipping options in here. Shipping options is something we can put onto the screen. So click that one, insert a child. And if you look into the dimension, we get all the elements in here. And if you look at the elements, we got something in here, the shipping options. We've got 100% confidence that that one is a good match for a join. What else? Not much left in addition. So let's add OK and add it to the screen. And as you see in here, shipping option is only related to shipment fact because the sales process or the sales event itself is not linked to shipment. So that only is linked to the shipping company, the base rate for the shipping, the delivery time, and all those elements. So that is an unshared dimension. So whenever you create reports, make sure that you distinguish between shared and unshared dimensions. We're going to look a little deeper in shared and unshared dimensions later in the chapter. But at least now you know how to build them. You can have multiple unshared dimensions in here. So it's not limited to one or two, but you always have to make sure that you have at least one shared dimension because otherwise those fact tables are not going to be linked to each other. So very important part. And don't forget, because it's still called synonym 03, make sure to select Save As and save that one to wherever you want to put it. So I'm going to put it in the admin folder into the retail, and that's going to be the brain shark multi-fact. By the way, it's always a good idea to use some useful names because otherwise it's going to be hard to find. So, okay, that's what we need. We've got our first synonym. Let's continue with the next lection.